Hey everyone, my name's Owen. Thanks for checking out HSM Creators. In my video today, I'm going to be showing you around my world and giving a couple of little tips and tricks that are practical for your Minecraft world. I hope you enjoy. Make sure to subscribe to Valley HSM on YouTube, leave the link in the description below, and let's get started. So I thought I'd start at the top and go down. This is the top floor that has actually been constructed of my tower. There's technically an attic up there, but it's just an empty space right now. So up here, recently I built a little bedroom, and well, I guess I'm going to try to do a takeaway from every place. And so the takeaway here would be try to make things look supported, because just adding these simple support beams made this build look a whole lot nicer. It doesn't exactly look great, but it just makes it look a lot better when you actually have these support beams on the build. So let's go down to the second level. I don't know if this is second level, it could be first floor, I don't know how floors work. But, well, I guess the takeaway from this one is to stay organized. That is a huge thing in your Minecraft world. You might start out thinking, like, oh, I'll be organized. Eventually, it'll usually all descend into chaos. So just try to make it a priority to stay organized. As you can see, I have non-essential items up here. At the moment, the only non-essential items really in the game for me are seeds, and so I leave all of my excess seeds up here because I'm never going to use them, so I'm just keep them in a special place just in case, just in case I do need them when I start a mega farm or something. Most likely I'm not going to need them, but, just in case, I'll just keep them up here. So, now onto the ground floor. So down here, well, the takeaway would be give Robert a bunch of observers, otherwise he'll blow up your base. If you're confused by this, which I'm pretty sure you would be, if you haven't watched the series, go check out episode 6, because that's sort of where this all began. As you can see, I have all of the observers out here. But, anyway, I guess just have fun, and then, play around with techniques and stuff, because with these lanterns, I didn't know how this was going to look, so I had to sort of play around with the height, with the placement, with everything of the lanterns, and I actually had to try and figure out some stuff about the light levels. I ended up just leaving the torches in their original spots, because these give off, like, no light. They're the worst. But yeah, I guess that would be the takeaway from this room. Just sort of have fun with it, go with it. And then also, we have a soul sand elevator. So this is actually a very useful thing that you can do in your world. So what you have is soul sand at the bottom, and a bunch of water source blocks coming up here, which means that they are each placed individually. So I had to place all three of these rows. I had to place each one individually so that it will push me to put the bubbles, which is kind of a pain. So what you can do is go to the very top of the water elevator, place some water buckets around here, and then you can actually make everything a source block by putting kelp all the way up to the top and then breaking it at the bottom, and then it'll make the bubbles. And so that's just sort of a really practical trick that you can use in your Minecraft world. On the whole, something that I use for the tower, and I think that this is actually incredible. Go check out the tower episode to learn a little bit more about this. I don't think that I talked that much about it though. But the way that I made this wall look so nicely textured, I honestly really love this, is what you'll do is you'll stand there and you'll scroll around your wheel, and then you'll place something, and then you'll go along to the next spot, and you'll place something, and you'll scroll around and go to the next spot and place something, and it's going to be randomized pretty much every time. Sometimes you might have a tendency to go to the same thing. As you can see, I just did the axe like 3 times, and that's why, as you can see, it does have a couple of stretches where it's the same stone for a little while, but on the whole, it ends up looking really nice. And so, if you just do the randomized trick, it really does work. It really does work really nicely and makes your build look a whole lot better on the whole. So, let's go down to the main base. Once again, we have a water elevator here that takes us all the way back up to where the tower is located. And then over here, this is the enchantment table. And I guess that the thing to take away from this room would be the layout. This is, I think it's the most efficient enchantment table layout. It can get you the highest level enchants over there. Let's just grab something. For example, I can get a level 30 enchantments, are the highest enchantments in the game, and so this will give me a level 30 enchantment, and I actually kind of want power 4, so I'm going to get that in a little while with my fishing rod. I'll talk a little bit about that later. And also, anvils are extremely useful, so make sure to keep those in your world. That's how I have Lightning McQueen and Swiper. And then if you go over here, this is a simple super smelter. So you can just fill this whole chest up with cobble, and this whole hopper up with coal or lava buckets or something, and this will just filter down to the hopper and smelt pretty much infinitely. You can watch some of my other videos, have a little bit more information on how that works. I go into a tiny bit more detail, but yeah, that's that room. And then here's elaborating on the good storage. I've gotten a little bit disorganized, as you can see. Wow, I'm that's kind of embarrassing actually. But for the most part, I am pretty organized. The only one that I really throw stuff randomly into is the wood chest, which is why there's a bed and an ink sac in here, and diorite. I don't know when I would have put those in, but they're here nonetheless. So I am getting a little bit disorganized. I'll have to probably work on that in the future. I don't really think there's much else for the rest of the base. There's a strip mine down there, and I guess that I could talk about that for a little bit. But strip mining, it's boring. You can just do it. It's not that difficult. Don't have to explain it. But then over here, this is what I really like. This was my pride and joy episode 1 of the survival series, I believe. And this, I don't really know what the takeaway with this would be. Maybe just experiment and be creative, because this really just came about through me messing around and having a concept in mind and just using it. So the idea with this is that the nether is exploding out of this nether portal into the world, and it's not really executed perfectly. As I said back in the episode, I probably could put another one or two out, not directly connected to the rest of them, maybe just through a diagonal or something, because that would make it really have the sense of it's a literal explosion. But, it just looks, I think it just looks really nice, the way that I've set up the whole thing. So yeah, I guess that the takeaway from that is, like, experiment a whole lot, be creative. That's going to be a really big thing in Minecraft. You're going to want to make sure, if you are new, that you just keep on trying and keep on doing new things, because it'll almost always turn out good. And is it nighttime? Yeah, it's nighttime. And then here is one thing that I think that pretty much everyone should have in their world: an automatic sheep shearing farm. I'll explain how this works really quick. So the sheep, when it gets its wool back, then it gets hungry and it'll eat from that dirt. As you can see, this happened recently. So this, under the glass, the grass will stay grass, and it'll eventually spread over there. And then when the sheep grabs that, then I have an observer down here, and what an observer is it observes block phase changes, or stage changes, I guess. And so that includes when a grass block changes to a dirt block. So that means that it sends out a redstone pulse whenever it observes a stage change, which sends the redstone right here, and this redstone is interacting with this dropper, or dispenser, and the dispenser has a bunch of shears in it, and when shears are in a dispenser, they get used like a normal player would be using it on something, and it clips it up. And then down here, this is a huge mechanic. Hopper minecarts, if they're on a rail, can pick up items through blocks. Normal hoppers can't do that. I think it's just hopper minecarts. And so that'll pick that up, and then hopper minecarts, even when they're on rails, can still funnel things into hoppers, which goes then into this chest, as you can see. And let's see, I haven't checked this since yesterday, and it's already produced, it's white right now, so it's already produced 17 white wool in probably the span of 10 minutes or so. Then I have a bunch of leftover pink wool. So inside, I torch spammed everywhere so that there's no mob spawning possible except on the roof. I'm not going to take care of that. But first of all, we have this floating island. Why'd I make it? Good question. I don't know. I didn't... There's no reasoning behind it. I just thought it would be cool to have a floating island. So I guess that takeaway would be just build whatever you feel like, because this obviously ended up looking really cool, and I really like it. So yeah, just sort of do whatever you feel like. And then around here, well, I don't really know what I was going to say. Let's move on to our next attraction. Well, this is embarrassing. I forgot a part of the, whatever you call this, the outer compound. So if we go down here, the first thing that you'll see is the most recent thing that I built. This is an Afk Fish Farm, and this is very useful for your base. I believe it's only usable in Java Edition, but here is how you build it. If you wanted to know, you got a jukebox here, and what I did to place this trapdoor is you got to put a block right there, and then place the trapdoor on the bottom part of the block so that it places right like that. I don't know exactly if that's how you need to do it, if you can put it some other way and then open it or close it. Oh, no, you can't. You have to place it exactly like that, no other way. And then you have this hopper down here, this fence post right here, this iron-weighted pressure plate. I think it has to be an iron-weighted pressure plate. And then a little hole down here for the water to funnel into. But basically what you do, let's try and catch a fish here, is you activate the fishing rod and aim it at the jukebox. And if you just tape your right-click button down, then this'll, I've done that before, overnight. It'll just infinitely do this and eventually pull a fish. So let's see if we can get one real quick. Oh, there we go. Huzzah. Got a fish. Let's see what it was. It's not always a fish, but, well, you know, it's something. So in this first chest and the second chest is where I have decided to store all my goodies. The hoppers funnel them down here, and then they go in here, and there's even some stuff in the hoppers sometimes. Yeah, because this one's already full. So if you look into here, we have pufferfish, bottles, a lot of boots for some reason, cod and salmon, and a bunch of Nemos, some other miscellaneous items. Bones are kind of useful, and so is string. And then in here, we just got a bunch of random stuff, some fishing rods, which I guess are okay, some tripwire hooks, some more boots. You know, just that's the sort of loot that you should expect. Next up out here is the villager breeder. As you can see, I have it all decked out with the beautiful pink color. I am missing one pink glass pane right here, just because I didn't really make enough of them to go around. This is bothering me too. I'm gonna get that fixed soon. There's a decontamination zone that you can get to the villager place with, and they will only breed if they have a bunch of bread, doors, and beds with space enough for a baby villager to jump on the bed. It's very odd specifications, but yes, it's true. So we keep on moving out, and over here, as you can see, there's a random hole. And that is because baby villagers are only 1 block high. So when they get born, baby villagers are curious. So what they do is they run along here and they walk out here, and they fall down into this pit. And as you can see, there's one that's old that has already fallen into my trap. And so, yeah, he just grew up in here. And what I do is I place minecarts down here, and then I turn this lever, and it turns on the powered rails, which send the minecarts rushing down to where they shall live forever and ever, which is down here, where I have all of my villager trades. I'm going to eventually add a second floor to this. It was at this point that I rambled on about villager trades for about 10 minutes, and so I'm going to cut all that out because it's kind of lame, and it was a continuous ramble, so it would have been almost impossible to cut it out. But basically, I just said try and get villagers early game because they can be very useful, because I have some pretty good villagers, and I won't talk much more than that, so let's get on with the video. Now it's time for my final little point. I guess, I don't really know what this one would be. I was thinking expand or something along those lines, but basically, I have this little town out here, and I just think that it's super fun to sort of explore new areas and colonize them and stuff, which can be detrimental to the environment, because as you can see, this used to be a forest. So, yeah, that's a tiny bit of a problem, but ooh, berries. I don't really know what the thing would be for this, but I think that it's just really fun to sort of, I guess, yeah, expand your horizons, sort of adventure out, and make cool things, because this isn't incredible by any measure, but it's just a nice little town, and I think that this is going to act as a base that is split into many different parts, possibly connected underground, but here is just sort of like the starter, sleepy, you know, just miscellaneous, just a little house. Oh, and up here I have rafters, and I think that they do look kind of cool. That's another cool little practical tip for you in your builds. Rafters make a build look cool, and well, these aren't really that great of a rafter, but still, it just adds a little bit of support to the build that I think is really nice. But I'm for the sake of the color scheme of the spruce floors, well, I'm stuttering a lot. For the sake of the color scheme and the spruce floors and stuff, I'm using barrels in this build instead of chests, and it's just mostly spruce wood. It's pretty nice, and wow, the berries already grew. It's pretty quick. And so in this house, I just built this recently off camera, so you can't catch this in any of my episodes. Brand new content here. You open this. This is basically just a storage room. I went a little bit over the top with my chests, and I wasted almost every last piece of spruce wood that I own. And I made just this little chest area. I'm probably going to add a few more barrels to this pile over here, because as you can see, it doesn't have much depth or whatever right now. It looks kind of flat just because this area right here is empty. I'm probably going to have them right there. You know what? I'm talking too much about where I'm placing my barrels. But yeah, this is just gonna be. I think this is gonna be a nice little project, and I'm super enthusiastic about this whole world. It's so cool. So let's go to outro mode. Thank you for checking out this video. Once again, Valley HSM, the YouTube page, will be linked down in the description. Go check that out if you have not already. Pretty great. And so, yeah, I guess that you can like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time, where I actually have an announcement. When I think, it's usually a pretty sure thing, but I'm pretty sure that I'm going to have a live stream relatively soon, where I'm going to go out to the desert and mine a bunch of sand, because that is the only resource that I have zero of, because I am also planning to have some builds that are going to need a lot of glass, which is made with sand, and so I'm just going to need to go and do that, and whenever I do grinding stuff, I don't like being alone, and so if anyone is going to come check that out, thank you. I'll share plans that I have for the desert, because I do actually have a decent base idea out there. And so, yeah, this is just, like and subscribe, Fantasy Mashup out, check out Valley HSM, and, have a great rest of your day.